Imagine living in a country where a loaf of bread costs billions and brides are bought with more money than you can count. This is not fiction. This is Zimbabwe, and what is happening there will leave you speechless. It's Zimbabwe, and the reason why this happened will surprise you. Join us and let's discover the most shocking facts about this country.
Number 13. Chinhoyi Caves. Deep beneath Zimbabwe's surface lies one of Africa's most spectacular underground secrets, Chinhoyi Caves, where crystal-clear water glows an otherworldly blue that looks straight out of a fantasy movie. This isn't some Instagram filter effect. The water actually appears luminescent blue due to its incredible depth and purity. The main pool, called Sleeping Pool by locals, plunges down 90 meters into limestone caverns that have never been fully explored. The water temperature stays constant at 22 degrees Celsius year-round, making it perfect for the world's most unique diving experience. Here's what makes this place absolutely insane. The water is so pure that divers can see clearly to depths of 60 meters, like swimming through liquid air. The caves formed over millions of years as underground rivers carved through limestone, creating cathedral-like chambers with stalactites hanging like crystal chandeliers. Local Shona people consider the caves sacred, believing they connect to the spirit world. They call the place Chirorodziva, meaning Pool of the Fallen. Legend says the cave served as a refuge during tribal wars, with warriors hiding in the underwater passages. Modern cave divers have discovered artifacts and human remains dating back centuries, suggesting the caves really did shelter ancient peoples. The blue glow comes from light refraction through the ultra-pure water. No chemicals or algae create the effect.
Number 12. Walking with lions. Zimbabwe offers one of the world's most extreme wildlife experiences, walking safaris, where tourists trek alongside Africa's deadliest predators without vehicle protection. Wangi National Park, covering 14,650 square kilometers, provides the backdrop for these adrenaline-pumping adventures. Professional guides, many with decades of bush experience, lead small groups on foot through territories shared with 40,000 elephants, hundreds of lions, leopards, buffalo, and rhinos. The park's geography, from dense woodland to open grasslands, creates diverse ecosystems supporting over 100 mammal species and 400 bird species. Walking safaris typically last 3 to 7 days, with participants sleeping in mobile camps that move through the wilderness. These camps offer basic but comfortable accommodation under canvas, allowing guests to fall asleep to the sounds of roaring lions and trumpeting elephants just meters away. The experience demands physical fitness and mental toughness. Hikers cover 10 to 20 kilometers daily in temperatures reaching 40 degrees Celsius, while remaining alert for dangerous animals. Guides carry rifles, but rely primarily on their knowledge of animal behavior to avoid confrontations. They teach participants to read tracks, identify warning signs, and move quietly through the bush. Night sounds become a constant soundtrack. The whooping of hyenas, the grunt of hippos, and the spine-chilling roar of lions claiming territory.
I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day. But to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video, so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel. So leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go!
Number 11. Marriage market reality. Zimbabwe's economic crisis created unexpected demographic shifts that transformed the country's marriage market and social dynamics. Massive male emigration to South Africa, Botswana, and overseas seeking employment left many communities with significant gender imbalances. In some areas, women outnumber men by ratios of 3 to 1 or higher, particularly in the 25 to 45 age bracket. This demographic reality combines with cultural practices to create unique romantic opportunities for foreign visitors. Many educated Zimbabwean women unable to find suitable local partners, express genuine interest in meeting international men who might offer different perspectives and opportunities. The combination of English as an official language, relatively high education levels among women, and limited local options creates an environment where cross-cultural relationships flourish more easily than in other African countries. Economic hardship also plays a role. Relationships with foreigners often represent hope for better futures, travel opportunities, or financial stability. However, these relationships aren't purely transactional. Many develop into genuine partnerships based on mutual attraction and compatibility. The lobola tradition adds another layer, as foreign men must navigate bride price negotiations that can seem exotic and romantic compared to Western dating customs. Some international visitors find themselves managing multiple romantic interests simultaneously, as polygamous traditions make such arrangements socially acceptable. Dating apps and social media have amplified these connections, allowing Zimbabwean women to connect with potential partners worldwide before they visit the country.
Number 10. Ghost towns. Zimbabwe's economic collapse transformed thriving industrial centers into haunting ghost towns that look like movie sets from Mad Max or The Road. Towns like Red Cliff and Chigutu, once bustling mining and manufacturing hubs, now stand as monuments to economic devastation. Red Cliff, built around a steel plant, housed 50,000 people at its peak. Today, rusted machinery dots the landscape, while abandoned buildings crumble under African sun and rain. Former shopping centers stand empty, their broken windows staring blindly at overgrown streets where weeds push through cracked asphalt. In Chigutu, a former mining town, entire neighborhoods sit vacant, except for a few hardy residents who've converted ruins into improvised shelters using salvaged materials. These survivors create new communities within the skeletal remains of their former lives, using recycled metal sheets, broken concrete, and whatever materials they can scavenge. The contrast is surreal. Modern buildings designed for industrial prosperity now serve as backdrops for subsistence living. Some ghost towns have become informal recycling centers, where residents stripped copper wiring, steel beams, and other valuable materials from abandoned structures. These post-apocalyptic landscapes tell Zimbabwe's economic story more powerfully than any statistics. They show how quickly modern civilization can unravel when economic systems collapse.
Number 9. Nyanga National Park. At 2,592 meters above sea level, Mount Nyangani stands as Zimbabwe's highest peak, creating landscapes that look more like Scottish highlands than typical African savanna. The Nyanga region, with its rolling mountains, pine forests, and crystal-clear trout streams, offers experiences you won't find anywhere else in tropical Africa. The area's elevation creates a temperate climate, where temperatures can drop below freezing during winter months, allowing the growth of vegetation typically found in much higher latitudes. Settlers introduced rainbow and brown trout to the mountain streams in the 1920s, creating world-class fly fishing opportunities in an African setting that defies expectations. The juxtaposition is surreal. Anglers cast for trout, while zebras graze on nearby hillsides and eagles soar overhead. Ancient granite formations create dramatic landscapes, with waterfalls cascading down mountain faces into pristine pools below. The highest waterfall, Mutarazi Falls, plunges 762 meters in multiple tiers, making it one of Africa's tallest waterfalls. Local communities have adapted to the mountain environment, developing unique architectural styles and agricultural practices suited to the cool climate. The area produces Zimbabwe's only temperate fruits, apples, pears, and stone fruits that grow nowhere else in the country. Archaeological sites throughout the mountains contain evidence of Iron Age settlements that exploited the region's mineral resources.
Number 8. The Stone Kingdom. Deep in southern Africa lies Zimbabwe, a nation whose very name tells the story of ancient greatness that colonizers tried to erase. The word Zimbabwe comes from Dimba za Mabwe, meaning Great Stone House in the Shona language.
This refers to the massive ruins of Great Zimbabwe, a medieval city that once housed 17,000 people and controlled trade routes stretching from China to Persia. These stone walls, reaching 11 meters high and built without mortar or metal tools, stand as proof that African civilizations achieved architectural marvels long before European arrival. The complex covers 722 hectares and includes the famous Great Enclosure, whose purpose still puzzles archaeologists. Some believe it was a royal residence, others a ceremonial center. What's undeniable is that this civilization traded gold, ivory, and copper across continents, accumulating wealth that rivaled European kingdoms. The ruins remain a UNESCO World Heritage Site, attracting visitors who discover that Africa's history is far richer than colonial narratives suggested. This ancient legacy sets the stage for understanding modern Zimbabwe's complex identity, where traditional customs like bride price payments evolved into billion-dollar transactions during economic chaos.
Number 7. Mana Pools. In Zimbabwe's Mana Pools National Park, visitors witness something that sounds impossible. Wild elephants standing on their hind legs like trained circus performers, reaching high into acacia trees for the tastiest pods. This behavior occurs naturally nowhere else in Africa, making Mana Pools a unique wildlife theater where elephants have evolved techniques that look like they learned from human trainers. The park sits along the Zambezi River, creating a seasonal floodplain that transforms dramatically between wet and dry seasons. During dry months, when grass becomes scarce, elephants discover they get access nutritious acacia pods by rearing up on their hind legs, using trees for balance while stretching their trunks to impossible heights. These aren't young elephants playing around. Massive bulls weighing 6 tons perform these acrobatic feats with surprising grace. The behavior passed down through elephant generations, creating a unique feeding culture found only in this specific ecosystem. Photographers travel from around the world to capture images of these standing elephants, creating pictures that people often assume are fake or digitally manipulated. The park's name comes from 4 pools that remain during dry season, creating wildlife magnets where animals gather in incredible concentrations. Hippos, crocodiles, and hundreds of bird species share these water sources with the acrobatic elephants.
Number 6. The Lobola Tradition. In Zimbabwe, marriage isn't just about love. It's a complex economic transaction rooted in centuries-old traditions. The practice called lobola, or bride price, requires grooms to pay the bride's family before marriage can proceed. Traditionally, families accepted cattle as payment, with rates varying based on the bride's education, beauty, and family status. A typical lobola might cost 8 to 15 cattle, worth around $3,000 to $6,000 in today's money. But during Zimbabwe's hyperinflation crisis, these payments reached astronomical figures in local currency. When inflation peaked in 2008, a basic lobola could cost trillions of Zimbabwean dollars, literally requiring wheelbarrows full of cash. The tradition allows polygamy, meaning wealthy men can afford multiple wives if they can pay multiple lobola fees. Some men maintain up to 10 wives simultaneously, creating massive extended families. Modern lobola negotiations often include cars, houses, or foreign currency alongside traditional cattle. Urban families increasingly accept cash equivalents, with educated brides commanding higher prices.
Number 5. Heroes Acre and the VIP Cemetery System. Zimbabwe operates one of Africa's most exclusive burial systems at Heroes Acre, a national shrine reserved for Liberation War heroes and political elites. Located on a hilltop overlooking Harare, this 57-hectare cemetery serves as Zimbabwe's equivalent to Arlington National Cemetery, but with stricter admission criteria. The monument features an eternal flame, massive bronze sculptures, and panoramic views of the capital city. Only individuals who contributed significantly to Zimbabwe's independence struggle or achieved exceptional national service qualify for burial here. The selection process remains highly political. The ruling ZANU-PF party's Politburo makes final decisions about who deserves national hero status.
This creates controversy when popular figures get denied, while lesser-known party loyalists receive honors. Construction costs reached millions of dollars, funded by North Korean architects and sculptors who designed monuments reflecting socialist realist aesthetics. The central tomb houses unknown soldiers from the Liberation War, while individual graves feature elaborate headstones with biographical information. Family members of heroes receive government compensation and ongoing support, making hero status financially valuable. The cemetery hosts annual independence celebrations and state ceremonies, reinforcing its role in Zimbabwe's political mythology.
Number 4. Underground gold cities. Beneath Zimbabwe's surface lies a dangerous shadow economy of illegal gold mining that creates literal underground cities. In areas like Kwekwe, Chikari, and Gweru, desperate miners called Makorokoza dig tunnels extending over 1.5 kilometers deep without safety equipment or proper planning. These underground networks house thousands of workers who live in subterranean conditions reminiscent of dystopian movies. The tunnels lack ventilation systems, leading to frequent deaths from toxic gas poisoning and cave-ins. Miners work with basic tools, pickaxes, shovels, and buckets, extracting gold ore in conditions that would horrify modern labor inspectors. Many live underground for weeks, sleeping in cramped tunnels and emerging only to sell their gold to black market dealers. The gold trade operates entirely outside government control, with miners earning barely enough to survive while middlemen profit enormously. These underground cities have their own economies, social hierarchies, and survival rules. Some tunnels feature makeshift shops, sleeping quarters, and even primitive entertainment areas. The environmental damage is catastrophic. Contaminated water sources, unstable ground that threatens surface buildings, and mercury pollution from primitive processing methods. Government attempts to regulate these operations have failed, partly because they provide employment for thousands who have no alternatives.
Number 3. Hyperinflation hell. Zimbabwe experienced one of history's worst economic collapses, transforming from Africa's breadbasket into a cautionary tale about monetary policy gone wrong. The crisis began in 2000, when President Robert Mugabe launched chaotic land reforms, seizing white-owned farms and redistributing them to inexperienced black farmers. Agricultural production plummeted by 60%, devastating exports of tobacco and maize that formed the economy's backbone. Instead of seeking international help, the government printed money to fund operations, triggering catastrophic hyperinflation. By 2008, inflation reached 89.7 sextillion% annually. Prices doubled every 24 hours. The central bank printed increasingly absurd denominations, culminating in $100 trillion notes that became worthless collector's items. Citizens needed wheelbarrows of cash for basic groceries, and many resorted to bartering goods and services. A loaf of bread that cost $1 in 2006 cost over $1 billion by 2008. People literally used money as toilet paper because it was cheaper than buying actual toilet paper. The crisis destroyed life savings overnight, collapsed healthcare and education systems, and forced 3 million people to emigrate. In 2009, Zimbabwe abandoned its currency entirely, adopting the US dollar and South African rand. Today, most transactions occur in foreign currency, but the psychological scars remain.
Number 2. Chiremba balancing rocks. Picture this. Massive granite boulders, some weighing hundreds of tons, balanced perfectly on top of each other like nature's own Jenga game gone wild. Zimbabwe's famous balancing rocks aren't just tourist attractions, they're geological mysteries that have baffled scientists for decades. These rock formations, scattered across the country's landscape, appear to defy basic physics. The most famous sits in Matabo National Park, where a 20-ton boulder perches precariously on a much smaller base rock, looking like it could topple with a gentle push. Yet these formations have survived earthquakes, storms, and millions of years of erosion. Local Ndebele people consider them sacred, believing ancestral spirits inhabit the rocks and maintain their impossible balance. The scientific explanation involves something called exfoliation weathering.
Granite expands and contracts with temperature changes, causing outer layers to peel away like onion skin. Over millions of years, this process carved these perfect balancing acts. But here's what gets really weird. Some formations balance so precisely that engineers can't figure out their center of gravity. The rocks appear on Zimbabwe's currency and national emblems, making them the country's unofficial geological ambassadors. Tourists come specifically to photograph themselves pushing the giant boulders, creating optical illusions that make humans look superhuman. Number 1. Victoria Falls and nature's deadly playground. Zimbabwe sits on some of Earth's most spectacular natural wonders, with Victoria Falls leading the charge as one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. These falls span 1.7 kilometers wide and plunge 108 meters into the Zambezi River, creating a mist visible from 50 kilometers away. Local people call them Mosioatunya, the smoke that thunders, and the name captures their raw power perfectly. During peak flow season, 5 million liters of water cascade over the edge every second, generating a roar that can be heard from 40 kilometers away. But Zimbabwe's natural attractions go beyond waterfalls. The country houses unique ecosystems where tourists can walk alongside Africa's most dangerous predators in parts like Hwange and Mana Pools. Hwange National Park covers 14,650 square kilometers and hosts over 40,000 elephants, the world's largest elephant population in a single park. The park also features the famous Devil's Pool, a natural infinity pool at the edge of Victoria Falls, where brave swimmers can peer over the 100-meter drop. This deadly combination of beauty and danger defines Zimbabwe's relationship with nature, a place where luxury safari lodges sit next to landscapes that can kill unprepared visitors in minutes.
Now I have a special recommendation for you. Are you seeing this video that is appearing on the screen? Click on it because I'm sure you'll like it. Well, that's it, and until next time, curious one.